You guys want to know the insights of everything that I do? So Keller Williams has this class called Ignite. It is supposedly great, uh, but I hate it. It is like Rise, but it takes 2 months to complete, and they don't have you do a lot of actions with it. Like you only have like homework for the week, which is like make calls, see houses, send letters, those kind of things. So it's great. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make up my own because I can't just settle for things that aren't good enough. So I created Rise and it is working really well. So if I felt like we were missing one little key ingredient and it was like getting started. So today is the getting started piece. So for those of you that have come to Rise before, this is brand new and something you've never done. And for those of you that are brand new, this is the best first class that you could be in. We are going to ignite your career. So this whole class, it's really about getting into action. Um, Imagine that if you went to, I almost call it a real job, a quote, real job, and you came in and they just told you everything about your job. Okay. And then the next day you came in and they just taught you about your job. And then you just kept learning about your job over and over and over and over again. And you never were able to do your actual job. How long do you think you would last at that job if all you did was learn about your job? Okay. So now your real job is real estate. And for some reason, Keller Williams has like 1,000 classes that you can take, and yet you don't have to ever go take action in any of them. There's no one that's going to hold your hand or check in with you or make you get on a Zoom call and say, give me a rundown or anything like that. It is 100% up to you to get into action for that so that you're not creating this like Groundhog Day nightmare where you just keep learning and learning and learning and learning and you never go and do. So the whole idea of this class is this is swimming lessons. And at the end of it, we are going to jump into the pool. We are not just going to stand on the side and stroke our arms like this. I actually used to teach swimming lessons, so I would do things like that. But we are actually going to jump in because if you don't jump in, it's really hard to actually do. So we're going to get you some clarity, belief, action. It's not about mastery, not about perfection, not about having it all figured out. And I could have changed this from what today is and is not about to what real estate is and is not about. Because there are lots of times where you don't have mastery, perfection, or everything all figured out. There are a lot of very successful agents, like agents up on this wall that are some of our top agents that they'll come to me and they'll be like, I'm so lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm a fraud because things have worked past, but nothing seems to be working now. And they have been in the industry for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't feel like they have mastery. They don't feel like they have perfection, and they don't feel like they have it all figured out. Um, I also don't have any of these. I just am better at pretending than most others. So, I don't care if you ever become a master, if you ever perfect, or if you ever figure it all out. What I do care is that you just keep moving forward. The more that you do, the better that you're going to get. So we're going to do that. So, quick thing, every agent started with zero. So let's see, how long have you had your license? Don't even have it yet. Boom, you're right there. And then the rest of you, let's see, who's the longest? Ben, when did you get yours? April. Okay, so you're the expert here. Wait, how long have you had yours? April. Okay, you guys are the experts in the back. Shaylee, how long have you had yours? Like 2 months? 3 months? Oh, okay. Oh, so you're the old one. Okay. So when you have questions, you go to Shaylee because she's had her license the longest. So every agent started exactly where you are. It's funny as you hear some of their stories, and you guys will through the Rise classes, that like some of these top awesome agents also had these like rocky starts where they're like, I got in and didn't sell a house for a year, and I was like, I'm gonna quit. And then randomly someone was like, I'm gonna hire you. And then all of a sudden it snowballed and they're doing all of these things. Uh, Felt unsure. This is still going on with a lot of these top agents. Um, and most of them learn on the go. Uh, there are a lot of things that happen in real estate that I am not very confident in. You know, if you told me, oh, I'm selling a house of someone that just died and they need to go through probate, and it's like, great. I have done probate multiple times and I don't remember anything about it because I don't do it often. But that is a process you need to go through and let's go figure it out. Or if you're like, I'm going to do a seller financing deal. My last closing was a seller financing deal. And I don't feel like I would feel 100% confident in like guiding a class to go do seller financing deals. I probably understand more than most, but we're going to learn on the go. There's a lot of people around you that also don't want you to fail and that will support you. And there's a lot of people that feed off of you. What I mean by that, lenders, title companies, inspectors, photographers, like all of this whole ecosystem of real estate is all based off of the real estate agent forging the path. So if you have like your awesome title company, like I use Real Advantage, whenever I have any questions like this, where I'm like, I wonder if they're going to know the answer, I can call Real Advantage Title, be like, help me out. And you know what? They are very willing to help me out because they know if I figure this out, they're going to get a deal. Same with the lender. If I have a question, even on seller financing, he's not going to get paid, but the more that I'm helping or he's helping me, the more that I'm going to throw deals to him. And so those kind of things. So you're going to have all of these people around you that are wanting you to succeed because if you succeed, they succeed. The problem is you're like that lead domino. I'm not a biker, but you know how they like Tour de France, like the first guy is hitting all of the wind and everyone else is drafting off of him. You're the one in the front that the wind is hitting, and everyone else in the real estate industry is drafting off of you. Good news though is they're bought into your success. They want you to work. Bad news is they can choose a bunch of different agents to draft off of. So pedal hard. So here's how this is going to work. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have this Rise class. We're just going to miss one Monday this week because or this month because there's a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day. Yep, that's the one. Almost said President's Day, but he wasn't a president. Uh, I can't even block my microphone as I cough. So, besides that, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, in this room, we are going to have top agents come in. Today, you get me. So, uh, most of these classes are going to be less teaching and more showing. Some of these agents used to be teachers and enjoy teaching or just enjoy teaching. And so they're going to do some teaching. But the way that we're setting it up, and this is a tweak for you that have come here before, it is a 1 hour learn time and then a 1 hour doing time. And so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be coming back down here at 10:30 to cut the instructor off, like stop talking. Let's go get into action. And then we're going to go do things. So including today, we are going to get into action with some of this stuff. Action is the key. So learn, then do the homework, take action immediately. You don't need to feel ready. I can't stress this enough. You just need to do the next step, right? Uh, like a handful of you have done transactions. And I probably asked you your first day, like, what if someone wanted to write an offer today? What would you do? And every one of you were like, what would I do? And now you've done closings. And so as you just jump in, you're going to solve for some of that. So, my first question, and this is the best time of the year to ask this, in 2026, how much money do you want to make? This is a real question. Shout it out. There's no wrong answers. More than last year. That's a good thing. 60 to $80,000. Okay. Ben, Shaylee, what you guys got?
Probably gonna be leading for the summer, so like different things, but like my goal is like three.
Okay. Ben?
Yes, it like in real estate or like
Sure. You could do overall. I always think overall. Do you want to know how I do my goals as you're doing this? So I throw out a crazy number, like a ridiculous number. And by the way, every year it goes up. My coach always gets mad at me for this. I do money, because I don't care how many transactions I close. I care about how much money goes into my bank. Because imagine this, imagine that someone's like, hey, will you help me buy an island? I mean, that doesn't exist. But if there were an island in the middle of Utah Lake and someone's like, can I buy that? You're like, yes, I will help you do that. And you do one transaction. There was an agent. She started like maybe 2 years ago, maybe not even quite 2 years ago. The day after Christmas, she had a commission check come in for $100,000 in one closing. Can you believe that? I don't even know. I'm talking with her tomorrow. I want to know more about it. So I'm all about money. If you can go get $100,000 every time you close a deal, like, yeah, let's do more of those. Yeah, one or two of those a year might be all you need to do. Um, or if you make $1,000 a closing, you might have to do 100 transactions. So I'm all about the money. So anyway, I come up with some crazy number. It's always real to me in some way. Like I've reverse engineered the math because I want to know why this is important to you. And so I come up with some crazy number. It tends to go up every single year. We could blame inflation, but my inflation is crazy. Um, I never hit my goal, and then I make a bigger goal the next year. And my coach is like, "Stop doing that. She's like, why don't you set something realistic?" I was like, "Well, why?" And she's like, "How do you keep getting a bigger goal when you don't hit your last goal?" I was like, "Why would I keep the same goal? That sounds worse." She thinks I'm crazy, and I am. So then I think, okay, out of all of the ways that I make money, how could I do this? So I'm a little different. I make money coaching. I make money doing productivity coaching. I make money selling real estate. I could go have a side hustle. I could go DoorDash or Uber or whatever. Like I could do whatever I want to make money. But then I think, okay, out of my goal, how would I achieve that 100% through one thing? So like through coaching, through real estate, through productivity coaching. And I build a plan based off of that. So if you have like another job or another whatever, um, figure out whatever your income goal is, how would you make 100% of your money based off of that thing? If real estate's the thing that makes it really easy, then how do you make 100% of it on real estate? So like if you wanted to make $100,000 this year, how would you go do that in real estate is a question. But so whatever your income goal is, I want you to think, why is that important to you? This is the big thing. Why? Right? The Simon Sinek books start with why. This is the most important thing. If you know why you are doing something, it is going to be, it will drive you that much more. Um, my wife, she's so funny. She when she gets pregnant, she gets ge- gestational diabetes. So she has diabetes only while she's pregnant. So she says that she is the worst at dieting. She's like, I can't not eat my candies. I want to go get a drink at the gas station every day. Like all of these things that she knows she shouldn't do. When she gets pregnant and she finds out that she has this diabetes, she instantly stops. And I'm like, how are you able to do that? And she's like, well, it's not me. Like, I don't care about me. It's the kid. Like, what if we had a kid and it had all of this problems because I had a Snickers and things like that. And so she will go crazy for like, it's probably like 6 months of her pregnancy, and she'll be awesome at it. And then you know what happens once that kid comes? Diabetes goes away, and she's right back with like a big swig and everything like that. No, she's not that bad. But then she's like, I can never diet or anything. And I was like, well, yeah, you can. You just don't have a good enough reason. I always joke that I don't have a six pack because I don't care. You know, I'm not that guy that I go to a pool and I'm all timid to take my shirt off. I'm also not that guy going to the pool that's just like ripping his shirt off to like show off to everyone. And so I'm right there in that comfort zone. I don't have a big enough why either way. If you have a big enough why, it is going to carry you wherever you want to go, right? If you need to do something for your kid, you are going to go all out and help your kid. If you have to do it for you, for some reason, you're not going to do it. You're like, I'm going to hit snooze and not go to the gym. I'm not going to do those sit-ups. I'm not going to do that diet. That candy looks really good. Those kind of things. So having a very defined why, and this could be as much as I need to make $100,000 and this is how I'm going to spend all of it. They don't have to be great, noble whys, right? Maybe you want to go to Hawaii this year. That is an awesome reason. It's not a good reason. Like, I don't know, Hawaii is pretty awesome. Maybe it is a good reason, but it's not like I'm gonna put money in my HSA and my IRA and invest and do all of these things and save for my future. It's not like great causes like I'm not gonna give to charity, whatever. But it is a reason. And if it's a big enough reason to you, you're gonna work hard to achieve that. A similar type question, what would that do for you? So if you accomplished it, what does that look like? If you can envision your life and actually think like, okay, this year I hit my goal. I made that much money. Like, what does that do for your life? Like, that could be awesome, right? Like, imagine making the amount that you want to make, hitting your goal. Oh, if I did that, like, my life would change. I'm to crazy numbers already. My goal this year, I want to make $40,000 a month. I have not done anywhere near that, but it just keeps compounding every year and it just goes crazier. So, man, if I made like $500,000 this year, that would be a great year. What would that do for me? I'd probably buy an investment property. I'd have some awesome vacations. I would just feel awesome. I'd be able to max out all the things that I want to invest in, like all these great things. Um, what if you didn't hit your goal? Like, let's go negative here for a minute, right? Like, imagine yourself and like think of, okay, let me give you an example. We're going to go through a little exercise. I call it the four quadrants. We're going to start with reasons and excuses, right? So if you wanted to lose weight, there's a positive reason why you're not losing weight, right? That positive reason is because food is delicious. Your bed is warm and comfy in the morning and it's freezing outside. Like those kind of things. There are good reasons why you don't do the things that you should do. And that's okay. Then there's bad reasons that you don't do the things you should do. And these are like the now moments. But I want to go to like the future, right? So imagine this year you don't hit that goal. You don't move the needle anywhere close. So my $40,000, I'm not even getting close to that. I'm like $5,000. And I'm like, how am I even living? Um, and then the next year I make a $50,000 goal and I'm still not there. Like, go 5 years out of you never hitting that goal, just over and over, more of the same, more not hitting that goal. Where do you end up? What is your life like? Who else are you affecting? Like, think of your family, your kids, your future family and kids, your future grandkids, if you wanted to go that far into the future, and those kind of things. Like, think about all of that and how you're just affecting your life. Okay? Live in that for a minute. It should feel awful. That's the point. I want to compound on how awful it is not to hit your goals. And then now let's imagine that you do hit your goal, that you go make that 68 to $80,000. You get those 3 closings, you make more than last year, and you do that. And then you're able to set a new goal and hit that the next year. And now, if you fast forward 5 years from now, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about where you are, your pathway that you're hitting? Yeah. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 5 or 10 years. So imagine this, like, it's not weird for new real estate agents to double their business year over year. So let's even take Shaylee, for example. Let's say she does her 3 transactions this year. It wouldn't be weird for her to do 6 transactions next year. Then after that, 12. That would be completely normal. No one would even be like, oh, Shaylee's the best agent in the world. 12 is normal for a lot of agents. Then 24. That's not even crazy either. Then 48. That's getting a little more crazy, but that's still not that crazy. Do you know how much money you make if you close 48 transactions? Let me do some math real fast. 48 times, we're like $600,000. And all you did was close 4 a month, which sounds like a lot if your goal is 3 for the year, but you're 4 or 5 years into this. And so it compounds upon itself. So then the last question is, what are you willing to do to achieve that goal? What are you willing to do? Because I know exactly what I need to do if I want to get a 6-pack. Super easy. I need to eat more protein with fewer calories that's healthy. And then I need to do sit-ups. I am not willing to live a life like that. I am going to eat pizza for lunch. So I am not going to get a 6-pack. But this is your income. So what are you willing to do to achieve that? There's going to be things that you're going to hear over this course of Rise that you're going to be like, that's not me, or I'm not comfortable with that. That's okay for now because you're going to shift and you're going to have a new identity. Your new identity is going to be someone that makes that much money, whatever your income goal is. And so if you see an agent that comes in and they make as much money as you want to make, you just need to be them, right? We have Courtney Nilsson. She's going to come teach about social media. I do not post to social media. I don't do anything on social media. My social media consists of me getting on Facebook in the morning to see who in my friends list has a Facebook or has a birthday, and then I text them. Unless I'm not good friends with them, and then whatever Facebook says I should write for their birthday, I just click that, and that's what I post on their wall, and then they like it, which they don't really like it. They don't even know that I actually posted because you get like 1,000 of those because Facebook made it so easy. So it doesn't count. That's my social media presence. If I wanted to close as many deals as Courtney, I might need to have the social media presence that she does. I might need to have the conversations that she does. do the things that she does, and will do that. So, what are you willing to do? And it might be hard now. In the future, it will be easy, right? It's like the people that run marathons, if you compare them to someone that never runs, like those people are like, how could you run a marathon? How could you even run a 5K? But people that run marathons are like, I think I'll run a 5K this morning. And it's so easy to them. But you can make that transition from going from the couch to the marathon runner. It's just going to take time. And the secret about it is to have the identity. It's not I run marathons, it's I'm a runner. That's the identity shift that you're going to need. So we'll talk about some of that. Quick how real estate income works in case you don't know. Your GCI gross commission income, this is whatever you're willing to get paid. You get paid what you are worth, is how I put it, which is not true. It's you get paid what you can convince other people you're worth. I suggest 3%. If you can get more than that, great. The average right now is right around 2.75, maybe 2.7 even. So it's not weird for people to get 3%. It's also not weird for people to get less than 3%. This is where, like, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is negotiable, blah, 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 like all of the legal things that I should say. But you can ask for 3%. That's completely common, buyer or seller. You will get this signed in an agreement with the buyer or with the seller. I suggest you start at 3%. If you can ask for more, but 3% is normal. On your first four transactions, you're going to be on a 50-50 split, meaning if you close a transaction that is average right now, which we're a little over $500,000 for commission, 3% of $500,000 is $15,000. You guys will get real good at doing 3% of numbers. So you close a $500,000 transaction at 3%, that's $15,000 comes into our brokerage. Your first four transactions, we split that 50-50. 7,500 goes to you, right to your pocket. 7,500, I wish came to me, but it stays at the brokerage, and we actually pay your cap and a couple other expenses and things like that. After you close four, if you do this in 1 year, you are considered capped at Keller Williams, meaning you pay $0 more to Keller Williams, besides E&O insurance, which is $35 that you have to pay every transaction. So then you're capped, meaning you get 100% of that money. So your fifth transaction at $500,000, 3% closing. So that $15,000 GCI, you get $15,000. So close more than four. The next year, so your anniversary date. So let's see, April for you guys in the back. You're probably, is it April or is it May 1st? Do you even know? Usually, whenever your license gets added here, your anniversary date is the 1st of the next month. Okay. Yeah. Mine might actually be April too. I don't know mine. Some people are like so like diligent, like they know theirs, and I'm like, I don't know. Who knows? I'm either going to get all of my money because I'm capped, or I'm going to get some of my money because I have to pay the brokerage. Anyway, how it works is you'll get 70% and 30% will stay at the brokerage until you pay $18,000. Coincidentally, it's about four transactions. Might be some math into how we did our four.
So what if you don't get all four in the first year?
That's a great question. I don't think you leave capped. Because what we're doing on the back end with this 50% is we are paying your 30%. Nope, nope. So let's say, yeah, let's say you did a handful and you ended up paying 10 grand towards your cap. Well, then you only have 8 grand left, which might be one or two transactions. Yeah.
So for the first transaction that are 50-50,
Uh-huh.
so I signed the contract with you guys like last week. And when I was reading that part, it says that if I bring if I find the buyer or seller, that wouldn't count towards the first four. So would that be like, these are provided by you?
So it's all closings unless you didn't actually close them. Meaning, so like, let's say I have a buyer and I was like, hey, Ben, will you go show houses to my buyer? Because I don't want to do that. And then Ben does such a good job that I was like, you know what, Ben, why don't you just write the offer for me? And then he writes the offer for me and then closes the deal. And then I give Ben like 20% of the commission because he helped me out so much. That won't count as one of Ben's closings, even though he was like doing a bunch of the work. But he would get paid. He would just be on that 70-30 cap. But if he actually does that enough that he pays in $18,000, then he is capped and he could potentially not close his four.
So the first four are still like I have.
Yep. Or someone might find them for you, but pass them to you. So the other alternative is, let's say I was calling and I've been so good at calling my sphere that I have so many leads and I'm just like, I'm so busy. And so I was like, Ben, you know what? Take this person, just run with him. I'm not going to be involved at all. I don't even like them. You deal with them 100%. I just want you to pay me a referral fee. Typically in real estate, that's 25%. So I'd say, Ben, you just pay me 25% at closing. And then Ben would pay me 25% happily. And most agents would, by the way. And then we would do a 50-50 split off of the 75% that Ben has. So that would, yeah, so you don't have to find every single lead. Typically you probably are, but if you can find agents that are busy that want to pass deals to you, or out of state agents that are somehow generating leads here in Utah, those are great people. So if you know like an agent like in California and they're like, for some reason everyone's moving to Utah, you're like, I know, send me those leads. Utah's better than California. Uh-huh.
Is my year date is still April 1,
Yep.
but I'm not gonna probably afford by, I don't, I mean,
You could, but you're probably not. Yeah. Then we just keep going until you get your four. And then on April 2nd, you closed 4 deals, then you would be completely capped for the rest of the year. And then hopefully you close your 5th and 6th. Because how it works, we're gonna do some math right here. So I want you to somewhere, even if it's like on your notes or in your mind or whatever, write down whatever your income goal is. We're going to figure out how many closings this is. So write down whatever number you want this to be. So like if you wanted to make $100,000, write that down. Then we're going to determine your net GCI, I call it. This is a made up thing because GCI again stands for gross commission income. So you have a net gross. That doesn't make sense in accounting, but it makes sense to me because the net is what you are getting of the gross commission income. Anyway, so your first 4 closings, you're probably going to average about $6,000. Your 5th closing, you're going to get $12,000. So take whatever your number is and minus $24,000 from it. And that would get you 4 closings. If your number is $24,000, congratulations, you need to close 4 closings. If it's less than that, you can do less than that. Or for those of you that have, well, you're going to have a cap, that will be more confusing. Let's just do it this way. So, you want to do one together? Okay. I don't know what this means, all these circles. Okay. What number are we going to do? $100,000. I know exactly the math for this one. This is the best. $100,000. Okay. So, average commission, we're going to call $12,000. So for your first 4, you're just going to get $6,000. All right. So we're going to take $100,000. We're going to minus 24,000, and that is technically 4 closings. right? And so we have $76,000 left. So to make $76,000, we're going to divide this by 12. I'm so glad I'm writing this down because as I'm speaking it, I'm like, no one is going to get this. But with numbers, it seems to make sense. So divide that by 12 and you're six-ish. So we're just going to call it 6. So six closings gets us the rest of the way. So we have 4 closings to hit our cap, then 6 closings to get the rest of it. We need 10. Not K, that's thousands. 10 closings, and you will make $100,000. Ben, you look lost.
You want to make a computer?
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you're mentioning that. So there's this thing, it's called the economic model. Oh, I already am on this slide. I'm like, I have a slide for this. Economic model. So there's a real way to do it. And it goes deeper than this. So if you in Command, there's a whole sections on setting your goals that will have this. If you Google economic model, you will probably find this. You might have to put MREA behind that, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So what that's going to do is it's going to say, what is the income you want to have? And the way that I do this is I'm going to add it all together. So I'm going to put my cap, the money I want, maybe even my taxes all in one lump sum, right? So if your cap is $18,000 and you want to put $100,000 in your pocket, you need to make $118,000. But then if you're like, well, I spend $100,000 a year and I need to save for my taxes, well, then we need to figure out how much tax that's going to be. And that's where math gets a little more hard because taxes are all made up and no one knows exactly how much you're supposed to spend or pay or save or anything like that. And so then we're just going to make up a number. So maybe you need to make $150,000 to be able to pay your cap and your taxes and still put $100,000 in your pocket. So now your number is 150. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So if you have $50,000 in your business to be able to close any deals, you better be closing at least enough to pay for that and then more so you can pay for your life. Otherwise, you're doing this as a hobby. And this is not a very fun hobby. I don't know. It's okay as a hobby goes. Yes. Yeah. So you look at all of your expenses, just be personal, business, tax, cap, all of that, and then put that in as your income line. Then the economic model says that you're going to look at your GCI. uh, That's a C, not a K. And so let's call it $15,000 just so we can do math. And then you do a math formula to figure out how many transactions you need. And that would be 10. And then it's going to say, okay, what's your percentage from uh um how much do I want to do? So the funnel, the economic model takes you down the funnel. This is way deeper than this class is doing. So it's okay. So it goes basically appointment to agreement, right? You should go on an appointment. The goal of the appointment is to get an agreement signed. When you get an agreement signed with people, you're going to go under contract with them. That's a U and a C. I know they look the same, but they're U and a C. And those are going to go to closed. Ooh. It's not how I would draw my D's usually either, or my C's. This is a mess. Good thing no one can really see this. So this is kind of the funnel that it goes. You should go on more appointments and end up with less closings, right? Because we're in a funnel. And then at the bottom is money. So there is a conversion ratio all the way down to get from appointment to closing. Shortcut math, it's about 50% of your appointments end up closing. There's more steps along the way, but let's just cut the crap. Who needs the middle? 50%. So if you wanted to close 10 transactions, you probably need to go on 20 appointments. And there's 52 weeks in the year. You're probably going to work 40 of them. So then you need to go on an appointment every other week. And if you do that, you make $100,000 or 150, according to our math. So yeah, Google economic model, and it can kind of take you through this whole thing. So it will take you all the way down from your income goal to calculating how many transactions that is, and then it should give you the number of appointments you need. That is the lead metric we want to look at, number of appointments, because then you can have an action plan. That's something controllable that you can work on. How do I go on an appointment this week? Because if I go on an appointment, then I can get an agreement. If I have an agreement, I can write offers. If I write offers, I can go under contract. If I go under contract, I can get a closing and get paid. So it all starts with how do I get an appointment? And so that is the economic model to be working on. And then we can develop and work on plans from there. So hence me knowing the number. The real example, you want to make $100,000, average commission 12 grand, it's about 10 transactions. Now, something I always like to mention to people, do you know how the market is right now? Everyone, are we in a good market, a bad market? From the real estate side, not like if a buyer or seller asks us how's the market, but like to you guys as agents, how's the market? Is it easy to make money? Is it hard? Is it a little bit harder?
Yeah. That's still not terrible.
Yep. Do you think it's easier or harder than 2009? You think easier? Now everyone's questioning, is it easier or harder than 2009? That was like the Great Recession. It's harder, maybe. So, let me teach you something about real estate. It doesn't matter about the market. Every market sucks, and every market is awesome, all at the same time. What I mean by that is it doesn't matter what the market is, because in this scenario, for you to make $100,000, you need to find 10 people willing to buy or sell their house. Here's the real secret, though, is if you find someone that wants to buy a house, that owns a house, typically they sell their house. So that's 2 transactions. So this could be 5 people. Do you know 5 people that moved last year? Maybe not bought or sold, maybe didn't use you, but 5 people that moved. Was it a good year to move for people? I hear rents going up. But like it's harder to rent things for landlords. Prices are definitely high. Interest rates are high. Affordability sucks. So not very many people are moving. Can you find 5 people in a state of 3 million that are ready to move? That is so doable. So it doesn't matter. But the other thing, every market sucks and every market is awesome. So in 2020, everyone thought it was awesome because it was so easy to find people willing to buy and sell. Here was the biggest problem, is if you wrote an offer, you were usually one of 10 to 20 offers. Your offer needed to be above that price. It probably wasn't going to appraise. You probably had to waive your inspection. So if they did an inspection and found problems with their home, they had to buy it anyway. They had 0 leverage as the buyer, and it sucked. As the seller, you would have to say, hey, I'm going to list your house, and you just can't be home for like 3 days. I'm just going to show your home constantly for 3 days. And then I'm going to have to work like crazy to analyze all of these offers, and I need to legally present them to all to you, and it's just going to suck. So it was awful, but it was also awesome. Now, when you have a buyer and they're like, hey, I want to go see this house, but I can't until Friday, and today's Monday, right? Well, in 2020, you couldn't do that, but now you can. So that's pretty awesome. If you show a house right now and they're like, can I sleep on it? The answer is typically yes. In 2020, you might have had to make an offer to be able to see the house. That was like a thing that people did. Crazy, right? So everything's a little bit different. So with this whole thing, you don't need to know everything. Don't need to know contract details. I feel like this is like if Dean heard me say that, he would cringe. Like, no, you do need to know contract details. You don't. And you're going to learn this, and we're going to help you with this. So pay attention and definitely learn this. You do not need to know every technical answer. You do not need to know the process by heart. What you do need to know is who to talk to next. If you're constantly talking to people, you're going to run into someone looking to buy or sell a house. Before I was in real estate, which was like 13 years ago, I sold Vivint Security door to door. I would knock on people's houses, and that's all I did all day, every day. And do you know how often in the summertime I would knock and someone would be like, this is the craziest thing. I was literally just thinking and talking about this with my wife. We've been wanting to get a security system, and here you are just knocking on my door. That would happen all the time. And it's not because I was like Facebook and Instagram, like listening into their conversations and serving them up ads. I just knocked on enough doors that randomly I ran into people that were doing it. The exact same thing's going to happen. The best agents don't sell the most houses. The agents that prospect the most do. And prospecting looks different to every single person. There's some people that are all about social media, other people that are all about online ads, other people that are just sphere of influence, talking to their friends and family. There's some agents here that say they're not good at prospecting that are very good at prospecting. They just don't realize what they're doing. If you walk by like Clay Winder's office, he's always on the phone. He's just talking to people constantly. There's a reason that he closes 20 to 30 deals consistently every year for the last 15 years. It's because he does that. So I'm doing real bad on time because I have 5 minutes left. So I want to talk real quick about these 6 posters here on the wall. This is the step-by-step playbook to becoming amazing at anything. They're called the 6 personal perspectives. We're going to go through them real quick. So number 1, you need to commit, and this is a commitment to yourself, to self-mastery. So this is, you know your goals, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and then you know how to work with these strengths and weaknesses, right? There's 2 ways that you can go about this. And I always give the example, imagine when you were a kid, you were good at math. Who's a good math people here? No, none of you. I'm the random weirdo that's good at math. Okay, I was that math kid. How about English? Who's the English people? Okay, so I'm bad at English. My English teacher used to tell me that I'm not allowed to make up words. I'm like, Shakespeare did it. And she's like, you're not Shakespeare. I'm like, well, because you won't let me make up my words. Maybe I'm not. So I was like a B-ish student at English because I would turn in assignments. I wouldn't get A's on any of the assignments, but I would do all of them. I would get A's on all my math assignments, and I would do them before class. Literally, oh crap, I didn't do my homework and finish them, pass them all. If my parents got me a tutor, it makes logical sense that they give me a tutor in English because I was weaker in English. But if they would get me a tutor in math, I probably would have been way better at math because it was already a strength. Get a tutor for what you're good at and get way better at it. Or you can get a tutor for your weakness and then be better, well-rounded. I don't care either pathway that you take, but just know in business, this is group assignments. Right now, you're solo, individual, like the teacher's going to you homework, you have to finish it all by yourself. The more money you make, the more of your classmates you can say, come work with me. And then you can be that kid in the back that doesn't do the assignment and gets an A because you brought all the kids together. Probably a bad analogy, but not too far from the truth because you can hire to your weaknesses, right? If I'm bad at English and I need to write a newsletter, Mariah upstairs writes newsletters. I can pay her very cheaply to write me a newsletter to send out every month, every week, every how often I want to do it. There's a bunch of other agents that are good at this. Like Michelle Reed, she loves to write. Maybe she's published, maybe she wrote a whole book. I can't remember. She's done something. She's a new agent. If I'm like, I wish I wrote more things. I could be like, Michelle, I'll pay you to write this thing for me. And she could do it. So I don't need to be the best at something, but if I know my strengths and my weaknesses, I can play off of them. I can either avoid my weaknesses and focus on my strengths or find someone around me to do something like that. So you might not know your strengths and weaknesses yet. As you start to figure them out in real estate, lean towards your strengths. If you're great at social media, let's lean on that already. If it's one of your weaknesses, you need to decide, is this a weakness I get better at? Am I getting myself a tutor for English? Or is this something that I'm like, I'm just going to be a B student in English all the time and I'm not even going to worry about social media. I'm going to do everything else really well because I'm better at other things. Maybe you're good at door knocking. Maybe you're good at throwing events and hosting parties. Figure out what you're good at. Let's do more of that. The next is the 80-20 principle. This says that 20% of your efforts yield 80% of your results. This is true in everything. This wall up here is about 20% of our agents and our brokerage. They make about 80% of the money out of all of the real estate agents at our brokerage. So another way to say this is 80% of your efforts yield 20% of your results. So if you're not making the money you want to make in real estate, it's probably because you're focusing on the 80% rather than the 20%. You want to focus on the things that actually bring you results. Gary Keller has said that the agent has 5 different things that are in their 20%. It's lead generation, lead follow-up. He says that those 2, if you were to do just 2, those are the 2, right? The next 2 is go on appointments, negotiate. I'm pretty sure that's spelled wrong. That's spelled wrong, huh? Okay. Look at me, and I got a B, and I can see that negotiate spelled wrong, and skill build. Those are the 5 things that every agent should do. You'll notice a few things. So if I were consulting a top agent in our office and they said, I want to make more money, I would look at their calendar and see how much of their calendar time is spent on this rather than other things. And the first thing I would tell them to do is get rid of all of the other things and don't do them and hire away for that. You'll notice on this list, there is not show homes because top agents typically hire people to go show homes. Clay Winder has his assistant, Kim. Kim shows all the houses. He doesn't go show houses most of the time. Some agents like to do that, so they keep doing it. You'll notice the under contract is not here. That is why everyone hires Brittany, because she is great at it. That is her 20% is to deal with the under contract and that whole process. And so it frees you up to go do the rest of this. This is my favorite one. Move from E to P. It stands for entrepreneurial to purposeful. Everyone has this fundamental ceiling of achievement. You're just naturally so good at things, right? And when you're being entrepreneurial or what is natural to you, you at some point will hit your ceiling of achievement. And you're going to kind of bounce up and down off of this ceiling. And it's a cycle. It's like golf. Who's the golfers in here? Okay. Who has at least swung a club? Okay. So if I was at the driving range practicing and I'm swinging my golf club and up walks Tiger Woods and he says, you're holding your club wrong. And then he tells me that I need to adjust and do some, I don't know what he would tell me to do, a lot of things. And then I do it and I swing and I'm like, this feels wrong. It's going to feel really wrong because it is not natural. It's not what comes natural to me. But you know what? What I am doing naturally is wrong. If I wanted to be the best golfer, if I want to shoot 110, which is not great, just one or two over on every hole, then I can keep being natural. If I want to just go hang out with my buddies on golf, then I can keep doing what comes naturally. If I wanted to get good, if I wanted to go pro, if I wanted to make money golfing, I need to do what comes unnatural to myself. And that's where I'm going to do that. And boom, break through the ceiling of achievement. This is what comes unnatural. And it's model systems and accountability usually breaks through this. Another good example of this is swimming. If you ever see a little kid when they start swimming, how do they swim? Doggy paddle. Is that the best way to swim? No. The best way to swim is to put your face in the water and actually swim. But that feels very wrong when you feel like I need to breathe and you're telling me to put my face in the water. A lot of things that you're going to hear are going to sound like that. Like put your face in the water and swimming will become easier and you'll be able to breathe, even though you need to be with your face out of water to breathe. So you're going to hear some things throughout Rise that are going to feel unnatural. Good. Don't be you if you don't have a high enough ceiling of achievement. If your ceiling of achievement is to close 1 or 2 transactions a year, we either need to raise the whole ceiling or we need to break through it to hit our next ceiling. You are probably going to break through a few ceilings just naturally as you get going. So, but then focus on this. Next, be learning based. Good job. You guys are already doing this. You're here. We are not going to know for knowing sake. We're going to know for doing sake. Again, action, kind of the whole point of this class. So whatever you learn here and in any class from like this day forward, go and do something with it. So I still go to a lot of trainings. Most of the trainings I attend, I should probably teach. That sounds very cocky and confident, and it's because a lot of them I have taught. Whenever I go to trainings, it is a reason for me to time block and go and do that thing that I am learning about. So for example, if I went to a training on the 36 touch that says, if you touch your clients 36 times throughout the year, you should get a closing for every 10 clients that you have on that. I would go to that class. I teach classes on this, but I would go to that and work on my 36 touch because it's not perfect. It could get better. And so that would give me that uninterrupted time. Plus someone's talking about it. I might get some nuggets out of it here. So go and do whatever you're learning. We're all action with all of this. Shoni always says, and I'm sure he stole it from someone else, education without action is entertainment. And I am not as entertaining as Netflix. I don't know. Maybe some of the shows I'm just as entertaining, but probably not most of them. Next, remove limiting beliefs. This is probably the biggest one for you as a new agent. There is something that you are limiting yourself, right? You might be telling yourself, I'm not ready yet. I'm new. No one will want me to be their agent. Or maybe you're cocky and like, business will just come. I don't need a lead generate. I don't have a good sphere of influence. No one's buying houses, whatever. You need to turn those into unlimited beliefs. So rather than saying, I'm not ready yet, you say, I'm ready to try and learn anything. Convince yourself of these things. I'm the best agent for everyone, even though I'm new. When I lead generate, I easily get business. I easily can add to my sphere. Whatever you need to do to twist whatever you're telling yourself into a positive thing that can help you build your business rather than something that's going to put a lid and limit yourself. We're unlimiting ourselves with unlimited beliefs. This is a huge one. If you don't do affirmations, you should definitely do that, right? Write down things that you tell yourself. And these should be positive things that you want to accomplish. They can be dumb. It can change every day. It can be the same list over and over. You can read it. You can memorize it. You can do whatever you want. But trick your brain into starting to believe these things. Then this is the last one. I talk to my kids like every day this one because this one is like one of my hot buttons. It drives me nuts. So when something happens in life, Gary Keller says reality shows up. There's two ways that you can go. You can either be accountable, nope, which is this red side, or you can be a victim. The victim, they don't seek reality. They fight against it. They blame other people. They give excuses and they just wait and hope. Does this sound like a great place to be? Let me give you a great example of this. My kids, I give them so long on their switches every single day that they can play. One day, my child came to me and said, "Hey, can I have 15 minutes?" And I said, "Yep." And so I unlocked his switch and I handed it to him and I said, "Hey, it's going to die. You should go charge it." But when I'm talking, my children can't hear. So he walked away. He's playing. He's maybe 2 or 3 minutes in. The switch dies. I said, "Well, go do something else then. Your switch is dead." And he just lost it. And he started to be like, "But you didn't charge it and I didn't hear you and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "You're just being a victim." Like, well, you take some accountability. I set up a little charger station. Like, I put chargers. There's 4 chargers because I have 5 kids and 4 switches. It's just that house is a nightmare. And it is like this whole station where I'm like, put it away, put it on the charger. It will always be charged. Or, oh, I can't find this game. I'm like, I have a little case that fits every single game that we own. Put it away, and I know exactly where things are. And they're always blaming their brothers and giving excuses. And you didn't tell me and I didn't know this. And they are just being victims. And you know what happens when you're a victim? Nothing changes except for you just feel awful until something great happens and then you feel great and then you feel awful again. Well, if you are accountable, you seek reality and then you acknowledge it. Then you own it, find solutions, and get on with it. If he would have been like, "Oh, you know what? My switch is always dead. You know what I should probably do? Use that great charging station that my dad set up where he can easily set everything and then he can just boom." And you know what? Finding solutions. That's why I built this stupid charging station for them. It's because I was owning it. I'm like, I'm sick of these little victim kids. I'm going to own this myself and find solutions. Uh, Gary Vanderchuck, he said, if I walked out of my apartment in the morning and got hit by a bus, I'd think, why didn't I leave sooner or later? He would blame himself for being hit by a bus rather than the bus driver or whatever happened because he is 100% accountable. Accountable equals change. When something bad happens, it's not bad because you are changing or improving from it. It is a gift for you. If you are a victim, it is the worst thing that could happen. If you are accountable, it is just going to make you better. This is the secret in everything. Use this. So when your real estate business is not going how you want it to, don't be a victim where you blame, give excuses, and wait and hope that something gets better. Take charge of it. You own it, find solutions, get on with it. I'm here to help you. It's really hard to help victims. It's really easy to help those that are accountable and own things. A great book that I have never read, but it's been on my list for like a decade is what is that book? It just left my brain. Accountability, owner mentality, something about owning, extreme ownership. And knew you came for a reason. Okay. So, simple truth, no one can build a business without conversations. If you are not talking to people, you are doing real estate wrong. If you run out of people to talk to, you need to find more people or keep talking to the ones that you know. I have seen people that have built big businesses with 50 people in their sphere. They talk to 50 people over and over, and they're like best friends with all of them, and they close like 30-ish transactions a year. That's like $350,000 that they make with 50 people. I know other people that have like 1,000 people in their sphere to be able to make the same amount of money. It doesn't matter, but you have to have conversations. That is the key to all of it. Have conversations. So Dang it. Hey, when my formatting's off. We're going to get ready to have conversations right now. These conversations are going to be with our friends and family. You can make up whatever excuse why you're calling them. You can literally say, I am in a class and the teacher is making me call people. I'm okay with whatever the reason is. If you need a script, here's a script. How's your family? How's work going? Do anything fun lately? What are you excited about? This is the easiest time out of the year because instead of dreams, we're going to call it goals. The good news with all this, so we are not talking about real estate, but we will talk about real estate. Because if you ask someone, what are you doing for work nowadays? What do they ask? What about you? If you say, hey, what are your goals this year? What are they going to ask you? What about you? And you just make it about real estate. So something is either like, oh, well, I just got into real estate. So I'm looking to build my business. So my big goal is I'm going to make $60,000 to $80,000, which means that I probably need to close like 7 or 8 transactions. So I need to find 4 people that own houses that want to buy and sell. Who do you know that I should know? And then I'll help you hit your goal. I will steal candy out of your hand every time that I see you eating that, so you get your 6-pack, whatever it is. So you're just basically connecting with them. You'll notice this family, occupation, recreation, this is a normal conversation, right? Think about to what before we started this. I asked these stupid questions, right? Hey, what do you guys do fun the last 2 weeks? Recreation. What do you get for Christmas? I could have asked, what do you get your kids for Christmas? Or what was the best gift you gave to someone in your family? Ben even said I was busy with work. I could have been like, tell me more about work. Like this is like a normal conversation. Well, that none of this will feel weird. This dreams one, that one feels a little bit more weird because how often do you call your friends and be like, tell me about your hopes and dreams? What goals do you have in life? What do you really want to get out of this thing? Like that's not a normal question. If you can get to that, then it makes it easy, right? If someone tells you today, I want to run a marathon this year, you say, great. Have you signed up for one? No. Okay. I don't know if you want to be like a coach to them, but you could be like, hey, when are you going to sign up? That's not most people. If they're like, I'm going to run a marathon this summer, it's like, awesome. Then when you see like a reel on Instagram and it's like, this is how you should run, you can send it to them and be like, hey, I just saw this. How's marathon training going? Did you sign up for one? I don't know if you want to do that. So get ready. By the way, these are normal human conversations. We are not selling them on anything. We're being their friend. The worst case scenario with this conversation, you become better friends. The best case scenario, you become better friends and they give you a real estate transaction. We're not cold calling or cold selling. We're not pushing. We're not convincing. Okay. We're going to start with the easiest people that you know. So I want you to make a list of 15 people, however you want to, on a piece of paper, on a notebook, anything like that. We are going to call 15 people and talk to them. If you call 15, how many do you think will answer? 5, 6, 6, 7. I don't know why I looked at you, Shaylee. Like you would appreciate that the most. So, before we start, you guys can give me all your excuses. If I were to walk out of this room right now and I said, okay, go call these 15 people, why would you not do this? Like what is your limiting belief that would come to your brain why you would not do this? Shaylee's just leaving already. I'm like, let's make calls. And she's like, I'm out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Of what? Tell me more.
I mean, like, if I through it, doesn't seem like it's a secret. Because I'm just calling my sister, calling my friends and having a conversation, but I feel like it's scary because I know there's an alternate reason to that.
What is your ulterior motive for calling them?
I guess just that eventually I want them to, trust me in selling or recommend me to somebody they know who's selling or buying.
If they didn't ever do this, would you still make these calls? Yeah. Not today. Yes, there's a reason for this. So I have two reasons that I make you call. Reason number one is it's way harder. Yeah. And we're gonna get the hardest part done right now. And by way harder, it's not even hard. It's like my mom called me yesterday. Hey, how's the family? Like that's literally what you're doing. Um, you could call your mom, by the way. I'm not limiting this to anyone. Usually I make it a hard list of people you haven't talked to, any 15 people that you want to. We're going to call through all of them. The second reason is the whole goal of this is to build a relationship. There's the idea of the seven, maybe there's more than seven, the pyramid of communication. Have you guys seen this? The best way to be influential or have great conversations is to be face to face, one-on-one, right? That's why when you want to marry someone, you go on a date with them and you don't like send them a text message and hope that they fall in love with you or send them an email or put out a billboard, kind of an idea. The next best is in a group scenario, right? Because like you guys are getting to know me. I'm kind of getting to know you. I'm doing all the talking though. So in all fairness, you should get to know me better. But we're in a group scenario. So we're kind of getting to know each other. Past that, then we go to some of the like one-on-one electronic communication, like back and forth with texts or DMs, things like that. And then from there, it's kind of more of the mass. Like, I'm going to send out a mass text to everyone, an email, broadcast, kind of an idea, billboard, those kind of things. Those are lower levels that don't really work too well. But if you have one-on-one communication, you're going to be way better off. Okay, what other excuses? Ben has none. It's just you two. Are you ready for this? No?
So I'm not like very sociable people person.
Uh-huh.
Like when you have a best friend, but maybe you don't talk in 3 months, and one day we talk and it's all okay, but I don't feel like I have to be constantly talking to you because we're all busy. So now if I reach out to you and I'm like, well, I'm actually a real estate agent, I feel like it's gonna feel weird for them thinking you're just calling me.
Yep.
Because they're trying.
So you don't have to mention you're in real estate at all. If it comes up, it will come up probably, but that is not the reason of your call. Unless you want it to be. But the very best, these are the easiest calls. This is like the easiest time of year to call people. Here's my, so I always have to give myself an excuse. Because have you ever had someone call you and you're like, oh, whoa, why is this person calling me? And you literally say that to yourself as you answer the call. So what are you thinking the whole time? Why'd they call me? Why'd they call me? Why'd they call me? Yeah. Yeah. So here is the very best thing. It might be a little made up for you, but if not, I'm going to give you a New Year's resolution to be a better friend. And so you can say, hey, one of my resolutions this year is I want to be a better friend. So I looked through all the people in my life and I literally wrote down 15 people on a piece of paper that I want to be better friends with. Weird, I'm making you do this. And then say, So I figured I'd reach out because I've always liked you and I want to be a better friend. Do you know what they will do when you say something like that? They will be so excited. I have done this. By the way, it works any time of the year because I did this last year with a handful of people. And I said, hey, I just saw this thing about relationships and realized I need to be a better friend. And I always thought, you know what? Like I did it to my friend Paul. I was like, Paul is such a good friend to me all through high school. I really liked him. And I was like, I'd like to be better friends with him. So I was like, I'm just calling to be a better friend. And he's like, dude, that's so awesome. You know what? He invited me to go skiing last week. And I said no. I was sick. I was sick, so I had a good reason not to. Um, but so uh so just say, I'm calling to be a better friend. Or I want to be a better friend. Then if real estate comes out, great. If not, great. But
If they don't,
if they don't answer, you can send them a text. Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like that kind of keeps the conversation going. Okay. Any other questions?
So when I live here and work on this today, if I have the chance to see them face to face, would you prefer that over calling?
But we're gonna do it right now. We're not even gonna leave this room. Yeah, yeah. Now the conversations could get long, so I'm okay if you don't get through all 15 if you run out of time. Because I also went too long. I'm like 25 minutes longer than I wanted to be. I just have a lot to say to you guys. So we're gonna start making calls. I'm gonna make calls, but mine are different. So I'm gonna be down here with you, but in a different capacity. And then if you have questions, let me know. But it's you talking to your friends. And this is the secret. So there was one agent that I was very impressed with last year. I'll leave with this little story. His name's Aaron. He has a full-time job. He is a nurse. In this full-time job, he got a promotion. Uh, he closed 8 transactions last year. He got his license in December. From the day he got licensed to 1 year from that, he closed 8 transactions while having a full-time job and getting a promotion in that full-time job. So it wasn't like he was slacking off in his job. When he had his first couple closings, I said, what are you doing that's working? And he said, I am having more conversations with more people than I ever have before in my life. I don't know what that means in terms of numbers or the kinds of conversations, but he had a lot of conversations. Usually, when people have jobs, they tend to close transactions from people in that job because they're talking to those people. He did not do that. His were all friends and family members and friends of family members, old family friends, those kind of people. And he ended up closing 8 transactions. I think he has 2 listings right now, maybe only 1. So he has like more in the pipeline ready to close. All he did was have as many conversations. Throughout Rise, we're going to work on a handful of things like systems on how to talk to more people. Literally on Wednesday, we have Cody Thorup, who is the director of sales for the Red Sign team. So our next class, he's going to come in and talk about working your database, which is all about this. So you have all these people. How do you talk to them? What do you say? How do you engage with the most amount of people? So let's go make some phone calls. Ready, break. Yes, it's